test tomorrow over fraction, decimal, percent conversions, percent proportions, comparing and ordering rational numbers, all of those things. So we're going to go over this review today in hopes that you can review that material and be successful on our test tomorrow. So I've given you a picture here. What is the fraction, decimal, and percent of the shaded region? So remember, when we write a fraction, it is always a part over whole. So our whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 5 by 5. So our whole is 25. And I've shaded 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9/25, that does not simplify. If it needed to simplify, we would. So what is 9/25 as a decimal? Well, remember, we can write it over its place value, or you can do cowboy horse. If we did that, 25 does not go into 9. 25 goes into 93 times. Borrow 15, bring down a 0. 25 goes into 156 times. So the decimal would be 3600ths, 0.36. And to write a percent, put your decimal over 100. Right? Percent means out of 100. So this is just 36%. We also talked about moving the decimal 2 places to the right. Put the following values on a number line. Notice that these are all separate types of numbers. We have a percent and we have two fractions. I would definitely convert these to all be the same. I can look at my number line. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is broken into tenths. So if we wrote that as a decimal in the tenth spot, that might be helpful. 30% as a decimal, 2 to the left. Remember, decimal, fraction, percent. So up here we had a decimal to a percent 2 this way. Percent to a decimal is 2 this way. So 0.3, or I could write that as 3/10. I could, if I wanted a 10 in the denominator here, times 2, times 2, 4/10, times 2, times 2, 14/10. So 3/10 is 1 to 3/10. So this is 30%. 4/10 would be right next to it, so this is 2/5. And then I know that this is 10/10, 11, 12, 13, and 14/10. So here's my 7/5. Remember, if it is a bigger numerator, that means it's improper, means it's more than 1. Mrs. Ray has 14 girls and 22 boys in her 6th grade classes. Write a ratio that is simplified, a decimal and a percent to represent the number of girls to all students. So notice here I have a part that is girls, I have a part that is boys, but I need a ratio that is girls to whole. So I need to add these to get my whole, and I get 36 total. So now my ratio of girls is 14 to 36. This does simplify. They are both even. So I can reduce both by 2. And I get 7/18. Now that is my fraction. We can then write this as a percent and as a decimal. So we can use cowboy horse again. Keep in mind the numerator goes inside. So 18 into 70. Well, let's think about that. 18 times 5 is 90, so that's too much. 4 is going to be 72, so I think we're going to have to go with 3. 24, carry the 2, 54. Going to have to borrow. This becomes a 6, so I have 16. So now I need to figure out 18 into 160. Well, 18 times 10 is 180, so maybe a 9. Let's try 18 times 9, 72. 7 and 9 are 162. Very, very close. I think we're going to have to go with an 8 here. 64. 8 and 6 is 14. Got to borrow again. Oh, look what's happening. It's going to be a repeater. So when I write this as a decimal, 0.38 with the bar just over the 8 because only the 8 is repeating. And then to make that a percent, 1, 2. So 38, and I'm going to put 0.8 with the bar repeating. Compare these from greatest to least. Now we have all very different denominators, so we can find a common denominator here, I believe, between some of these, not all of them. Probably not the 9, but 3 and 15 can make 30. So we can do that and come back to the 9 if we want. So I could write this as be times 2, 14 30s, 10 30s. I'm going to come back to this one. That's still 9 30s times 2 is 12 30s, and then that's still 15 30s. Here I know 1/3, if I wanted to make that 9, would be 3 9s. So my 2 9s is going to have to be less than, 2 9s is less than 1/3. Now we want greatest to least, so we're looking at big. So my highest numerator is 15. So I've got 15 30s is my largest. And then it goes to 14. I'm going to go ahead and write it as 7 15s because that's what it was. Then 12, which was 6 15s. 10 is 1/3. All right, now I need to be careful because I know my 2 9s is in here somewhere. If I want to know if 2 9s is greater than 9 30s, we can do our butterfly, 18 and 60. I can see that 2 9s is greater. I'm sorry, this is 81. I apologize. 81, so less than. 60 is less than 81, so 2 9s is less than 9 30s. So we're going to go ahead and write our 9 30, and then finally our 2 9s. Same thing here, same concept. Change them all to be the same. We had all denominators there that were the same. Here we can make them all decimals if we wanted. These are all pretty easy numbers. Least to greatest. So I know I need to start with my negatives. Well, I know negative 2/5 is 0.40. This is going to be negative 7. 1/4 is 2 5. And 21/7, this is just 3 poles, and it happens to be positive. So I know if it's least to greatest, I need to start with my negative number, negative 7 and 1/4. And then I need to think about, is negative 47 less than negative 40? Yes, it is. Negative 2/5, positive 3, and then positive 7. Soccer team played 25 games. They lost 20% of them. How many did they win? So if they lost 20%, that means they won 80%. So we have a part. This is our part whole percent 100, where this is our whole. So we want to know how many did they win out of 25 if they won 80%. So we can do this a couple of ways. We talked about you can use cross multiply divide. That works 100% of the time. 25 times 80 equals 100 times how many they won. So 25 times 80, well, 8/4 is $2. Put my 0 on the end. And then I can divide by 100. Take off my 0, so they won 20. We can do it that way. We can also go through, if you wanted, you could say to go this way, we're dividing by 4. So you could divide 80 by 4 to get 20. You could use a percent trick if you wanted, where you could say 10% of 25 is 2.5, so 20% is going to be 5, and then you could just say 25 minus 5 is the 20. Lots of ways to get there. Whichever way works best for you is going to be great. On the back, some more percent proportion problems. 256 graders, 90 said they liked the enchiladas. What percent said they liked the enchiladas? So 90 is our part out of 250 is our whole, equals some percent over 100. And all of those methods that we discussed before will work. You could take your zeros off and say times 4 times 4. You could cross multiply. 90 times 100 equals 250 times something. So 9 with 3 zeros. And divide by 250. This is the way that will always work. Take off our zeros. So I would say 25 into 900. 25 goes into 90 3 times. Don't forget to borrow. And 25 goes into 150 36 times. So 36%. And what I was saying a moment ago is that you could take off these zeros and then you can say 25 times 4 and 9 times 4. If you wanted to use your scale factor, that would work just fine. Best Buy is having a 20% off sale. What would be the sale price of a $350 TV? So if it's 20% off, you're going to pay 80%. So, and that's what we want. We want our pay. So part, we don't know. Whole is 350, 80 over 100. So 350 times 80 equals 100 over what we're paying, because that's what we want to know. So 350 times 80, placeholder 0, 40, 28, so 28000 is equal to 100 times something, so we divide by 100, and I get $280. Now, you could also find 10%. If you wanted to use your percent trick, you could say 10% is 35, so 20% is 70, and then you could say 350 minus 70 is 280. You could do it that way as well. Lots of ways to do this. They bought new camping equipment at REI. The gear was marked down to 231 from 330. What percentage was it reduced? Well, how far did it go down? Well, we need to 330 minus 231. We're going to have to borrow here. This becomes a 2. We're going to have to borrow again. It went down $99. So this is the money it was reduced by. Or this is essentially a way of saying, what did you save? So you saved $99, and it was originally $330. So what percent out of 100 is that? So we could, again, cross multiply. 100 times 99 is equal to 330 times some percent. So 9900. 330 and a percent, so divide by 330. Don't forget you can take off those zeros to make life easier. 33 into 990. 33 doesn't go into 9, it goes 3 times into 99. And don't forget your zero. So it was 30% reduced, or what you saved. This is another way of saying what you saved. And then the new price, it went from $300 to $450, so it went up $150. By what percent did it go up? So 150 is your part that it went up out of. It was originally 300. That was your 100%. So then we can say, well, I know right here I can divide by 2. So if I take 100% and I divide by 2, I get 50%. You can also cross multiply divide on there. Let me know if you have any questions.